How is it possible to feel alone amidst a sea of connections? Welcome to the paradox of loneliness, a phenomenon that has gripped our society in the age of connectivity. We live in a world that is more interconnected than ever before, where a simple swipe or click can bring us face to face with someone halfway across the globe. Yet we find ourselves caught in the throes of a loneliness epidemic. This is an issue that's particularly prevalent among young adults. They've grown up with the internet, smartphones, and social media, tools designed for communication, for connection. Yet these very tools that were meant to bring us closer seem to be leaving us feeling more isolated. It's like standing in a crowded room yet feeling completely alone. How is it that we can be so connected yet feel so disconnected? This is the paradox of loneliness we find ourselves in. Now, it's not that we're not communicating, we're sharing, liking, commenting, tweeting more than ever before. We're constantly plugged in, scrolling through feeds, sending and receiving messages at all hours of the day and night. Yet the more we connect, the more alone we seem to feel. It's as if we're caught in a whirlpool of paradoxes. We can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, and yet we feel unheard. We can share our thoughts with the world in an instant, yet we feel unseen. We have the world at our fingertips, yet we feel lost in the crowd. This paradox isn't just a social issue, it has serious implications on our mental and physical well-being. Chronic loneliness can lead to depression, anxiety, and can even impact our physical health. But why is this happening? Why are we feeling so alone despite being so interconnected? Is it the quality of our connections? Is it the way we're using technology? Or is it something deeper, something ingrained in our biology that's causing this paradox? Let's delve deeper into the root cause of this paradox. And as we unpack this, let's remember, understanding the problem is the first step to finding a solution. Does technology play a part in this paradox? This is a question that has been asked by many, and the answer is not as straightforward as one might think. Research has indeed shown a correlation between the increased use of technology and feelings of isolation. A study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that young adults who used digital media more frequently were twice as likely to feel socially isolated than those who used it less often. This might seem counterintuitive. After all, technology gives us the ability to connect with others in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago. We can instantly message a friend halfway across the world, video call our family members, or participate in a virtual meeting with colleagues from different continents. However, experts suggest that while technology offers unprecedented connectivity, it can also contribute to feelings of loneliness. It's not just about the quantity of connections we make, but the quality. Interactions on social media, for instance, can often be superficial and lack the depth and intimacy of face-to-face communication. Moreover, the constant exposure to the curated lives of others on social media platforms can lead to feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. We may find ourselves comparing our lives to the highlight reels of others, feeling as if we're missing out or not measuring up. Another aspect to consider is that technology can sometimes replace real-life social interaction. Rather than meeting up with friends or participating in community events, we might find ourselves scrolling through social media or binge-watching shows. This can lead to a sense of isolation, as we're physically alone even though we're digitally connected. Technology also tends to be a double-edged sword. While it can help us maintain long-distance relationships and connect with like-minded individuals, it can also make us feel more alone when we use it as a substitute for offline social interaction. In conclusion, the role of technology in our feelings of loneliness is complex. While it provides us with incredible opportunities for connection, it can also contribute to feelings of isolation and inadequacy. It seems technology, while connecting us, may be driving us apart. What are the biological implications of this loneliness? This question takes us down a rabbit hole of intriguing and somewhat alarming findings. Research has shown that chronic loneliness can impact our health in a multitude of ways, both physically and mentally. First off, let's remember that we humans are social creatures by nature. From the moment we are born, we crave connection and interaction. Our brains are hardwired to seek out companionship, to form bonds, to share experiences. It's a fundamental part of who we are, and this need for social connection has been crucial for our survival and evolution as a species. When this connection is missing, when we're enveloped in the throes of loneliness, our body reacts. It's as if an alarm bell goes off inside us, signaling danger. This feeling of loneliness, of social isolation, can trigger a stress response in our bodies, leading to increased levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, high cortisol levels can lead to a slew of health issues. from heart disease and diabetes to depression and anxiety. Moreover, loneliness can mess with our sleep patterns. Studies have shown that people who report feeling lonely also often report experiencing sleep disruptions. And we all know how vital a good night's sleep is for our overall health and well-being. Mental health is another major area impacted by loneliness. It's a bit of a vicious cycle, really. Loneliness can lead to depression and anxiety, and these mental health conditions can, in turn, intensify feelings of loneliness. And then there's the immune system. Some research suggests that chronic loneliness might even weaken our immune response, making us more susceptible to infections and diseases. So it's clear that loneliness is not just about feeling sad or despondent, it's not just an emotional state. It has real, tangible effects on our health. It's a stressor that our bodies react to, potentially leading to a host of health problems. Loneliness is not just an emotional state, it's a health risk. Isn't it ironic that we feel alone despite being more connected than ever? As we navigate through the digital age, we find ourselves living in a paradox. We have the power to connect with individuals across the globe at the touch of a button, yet we often feel more isolated than ever. We are part of a global village, yet many of us feel like lone wanderers in a vast digital desert. Why is this? Why do we feel alone in a world where everyone is just a click away? The answer lies in the nature of our connections. We are drowning in shallow transactional interactions, leaving us thirsty for meaningful, deep connections. Imagine a world where you have 1,000 friends, yet not one of them truly knows you. They may know your favorite color or your go-to comfort food, but do they understand your dreams, your fears, your ambitions? Do they know the weight of the burdens you carry or the heights of the joys you've experienced? In the midst of our hyper-connected world, we've somehow lost sight of what it means to truly connect. We've traded depth for breadth, choosing to spread our attention thin across a multitude of connections instead of investing deeply in a few. We're like a gardener with 100 plants, watering each one just enough to keep it from dying, but not enough for any of them to truly thrive. We're surrounded by greenery, but there are no blossoms in sight. The irony of our connection is that we've allowed quantity to overshadow quality. We've allowed the illusion of connection to replace genuine, meaningful relationships. We've lost ourselves in the crowd, forgetting that it's not about how many people we know, but how well we know them. And so we find ourselves feeling alone in the midst of a bustling digital party. We're surrounded by people, yet we feel unseen, unheard, unknown. The key to overcoming this paradox lies in understanding that real connection is not about the number of likes on a post or the number of friends on a profile. It's about authentic, meaningful interactions that nurture our souls and enrich our lives. It's not about how many connections we have, but the quality of those connections. How do we overcome this paradox of loneliness? This is the question that we find ourselves asking in a world where we're more connected than ever, yet feel more alone. One of the most effective strategies to combat loneliness is to prioritize in-person interactions. It's easy to get caught up in the digital world, but nothing can replace the warmth of a genuine human connection. When we interact with others in person, we engage all our senses, not just our eyes and ears. We can feel the energy, read the body language, and connect on a deeper level. Limiting the use of technology is another important step. While it's true that technology has brought us closer in many ways, it has also created a sense of artificial intimacy. We may feel like we're connected to hundreds or even thousands of people, but how many of those connections are truly meaningful? By setting boundaries around our use of technology, we can create space for real, substantial interactions. Focusing on building meaningful relationships is also key. Quality trumps quantity when it comes to relationships. It's better to have a handful of close friends with whom you can share your thoughts and feelings than to have 1,000 followers who merely like your posts. Now let's hear from the experts. According to renowned psychologist, Dr. Julianne Holt-Lunstad, social connections are not just nice to have, they're a need to have. She emphasizes that loneliness can be as detrimental to our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So maintaining social connections is not just about feeling good, it's about staying healthy too. Dr. Vivek Murthy, a former US Surgeon General, suggests that we should approach loneliness as we would any other health issue. This means acknowledging it, understanding its roots, and actively seeking help when needed. Overcoming loneliness is not a solitary journey, it's a collective effort. It involves acknowledging our needs, setting boundaries, and cultivating deep, meaningful relationships. Remember, despite the paradox, we have the power to create meaningful connections. So let's use that power to build a world where no one has to feel alone.